Welcome to Holistic Health is Hot, where your journey to sculpting your dream body meets holistic health. I'm your host, Ashley Roberts. Here, we're going to chat about mindset hacks that have completely transformed my life and dive deep into nutrition and movement that will help transform yours. We're going to get into the intense connection between mind, body, and soul so you can glow from the inside out. Let's get into it. And remember, holistic health is hot. Hello. My name is Ashley and I'm your host of Holistic Health is Hot. In this episode, I want to tell you just a little bit about who I am and my story and why I even started this podcast and what you can kind of expect to hear on the show. So first, a little bit about the name. So I just really want to teach people that holistic health is actually so cool. Working on yourself is so cool, setting boundaries is cool, and being selfish and taking care of yourself is freaking cool. Because hot girls take care of themselves. And by you being here, you are just one step closer to becoming that ultimate superhuman version of yourself. I have seriously had so many ups and downs in my health and fitness, confidence, mental health journey, so I just really want to share all the tips and tricks and tools that I have learned over these past 8 years so I can really help you fast track your journey to living your best, healthiest, happiest life. So I do want to start at the very beginning just so you can get a little sense of my journey, who I am, and how I got here. Growing up, I was known as the mute girl. I was so shy and so quiet, and I honestly was just terrified of the whole entire world. I was truly scared to talk to people, and I just always thought people were judging me. I just lived in this headspace that no one really cared about my opinion, and no one would like me if I showed who I truly was. So this led me to living in my head and just having no confidence in myself. One day, freshman year of high school, or this is kind of where things shifted a little bit for me. One day, freshman year of high school, I had 3 friends that I hung out with and they were all gone for the day. I don't know, they had appointments or one was sick or something like that, and I had no one to eat lunch with, and this mortified me. I ran to the bathroom in the middle of honors science class or something like that, and I was bawling my eyes out. Not just oh, I'm a little bit upset. I was bawling, begging my mom to come pick me up for lunch so I didn't have to eat alone. I know this sounds really sad, but it kind of was a turning point for me. At first, my mom was kind of oh, I have a meeting. I don't know if I can do this. And she finally gave in and picked me up. And when we were eating Chinese food, we were having this conversation, and she was kind of I love you, but I can't, this is something that I just can't leave work and do all the time. Which obviously that is 100%. I think I needed to have that conversation because right after that, it was a flip had switched in me, and I decided I didn't want to be that shy, quiet girl anymore. And I told my mom, I was I want to switch to a new high school, which is where my brother actually went to high school across town. It was a small private school. I just really wanted a clean slate. So I ended up coming out of my shell that year, and I think part of it was just switching to a new, smaller school. The kids that went to that private school just had grown up together and had the same kids in their class the whole, I don't even know, all of elementary school. So they were just excited that there was a new face. So it kind of forced me to get out of my shell. And then I also got into dance that year. So I think it was the combination of the two. And forcing myself into a new environment, not only with school, but also with dance, really just changed my whole life and really brought me out of my shell. So long story short, I started making some friends, and the summer before sophomore year, I actually ended up making other friends at my old high school. So I ended up switching back to the original school, but I shit you not, people introduced themselves to me because they didn't recognize me because I was just this person that actually spoke and talked and didn't run away crying if someone said hi to me. So yeah, and the weird thing is that I never really struggled kind of transitioning over into more body image stuff because this is a big part of my journey. I didn't really struggle with that much as a dancer. I feel like I was just so fit from playing soccer and dancing that I never, like I was just so fit. So I never really thought about it. But then I went to college and I got the freshman 15. Maybe it wasn't quite 15, but it was pretty close. And that's when my mindset and confidence, mental health went down the drain. I was partying so much. I went to Chico State, which if you know, you know, like it is a very intense party school. We would party Thursday to Saturday. I would eat super unhealthy and it just caught up with me. I used to have a Pepsi addiction. When I was a freshman in the dining hall, they had Pepsi just on tap. And so I would go ham. I didn't even realize, because I was so used to eating whatever I wanted, I didn't realize that I wasn't allowed to eat whatever I want and have the body that I want. It was honestly shocking to me, which I know so many of us struggle with this, where we leave high school doing all these sports, then we go to college and all of a sudden all these, you know, all of a sudden we start gaining weight because we don't know how to work out. We're used to like running sprints at soccer, whatever. For me, I was like dancing 5 hours a day in high school. So it's like, obviously if I'm not eating healthy and not working out and just partying, I'm gonna gain some weight. But truly I started to hate my body, which led me to just being really, really mean to myself. And ultimately ended up really not liking myself, as sad as that sounds. I honestly, like, to get a little deep, used to write really mean notes to myself. I would put pictures in there of the old me versus the new me and talking about how fat I am now. And I would like set alarms on my phone at like 5 a.m, be like, wake the fuck up, go to the gym. Like just so mean. And so that honestly, like binging went on all throughout high school. I would usually go home for summer, restrict, not be drinking that much, lose some weight, go back to school, be binging and super unhealthy, partying, all the things. So, it pretty much was like that all of college up until the last semester, of college, right before my last semester of college. So the summer before, I had studied abroad. On the way home, I found this book that was called Skinny Bitch, and the book pretty much convinced me to go vegan. And I ended up losing about 20 pounds in a very short period of time in a very unhealthy way. And this is kind of how my interest in health and fitness got started. I just became obsessed with all things health, fitness, mindset. And it honestly came at a convenient time. Not that I don't wish that I would have done it in an unhealthy way, but it did come at a very convenient time because I was just starting to audition for pro dance teams. And if I would have looked the way I looked in college for the most of college, there's no way I would have made a professional dance team. That's just how it is. It can be kind of a harsh industry, but you know, body does matter. And that was another kind of thing that really fueled my eating disorder, is that I had to look a certain way. But I struggled with an eating disorder way before I even was auditioning for pro dance teams. So I wouldn't even say the pro dance world is to blame for that. I struggled with it way before that. And truthfully, I struggled with an eating disorder until I made 49ers. I think that what kind of shifted for me was I was still eating so little and working out like twice a day, just so intense, because I thought that's what I had to do to keep up with the body that I had. And I was still vegan and I was just like drained. I literally had no energy. But once I made the 49er dance team, I saw all these girls just eating normally, eating like snacks and like trail mix. I would be like, oh my God, you're eating trail mix just on a like normal day? Like you can do that? I was like, it just like shocked me. And I remember seeing a girl at auditions eating granola, like yogurt and granola. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, how's your body like that? Like I was so confused because I felt like I could only eat fruits and vegetables, and that's the only way I was going to be able to sustain my lean body, which is so not the way to do it, but that's truly what I thought. Just to even give you a typical day of eating for me that I would have been proud of myself for was wake up, eat just a ton of fruit. Maybe if I got hungry a couple hours later, eat a smoothie with no protein powder at all, just fruit and vegetables. And then I would maybe have some like kale chips and corn for lunch. It's honestly funny thinking back to this now because I'm like, how did I even have the energy to like think or do school or like dance or do anything for that matter or work? Like the brain fog I had was crazy. But like to me in that moment, all it mattered was being skinny. And if that meant I was gonna be a little like woozy in the head because I wasn't eating enough food, I didn't even care, honestly. And then for dinner I would have like sometimes like a burrito bowl, but like no carbs. Like if I ate tortilla chips, I would have like 3. Like I was deep in an eating disorder phase at that point. But anyways, kind of going back to the dance world, that's when I saw other people eating like a good amount of food, and I was like, whoa, am I allowed to do this? Like, and I would kind of talk to girls and ask them about their workout routine, and they would always be like, yeah, I just work out a moderate amount. I'm like, so you're not working out 2 days a week? Like or twice a day. I was so confused. It didn't make sense to me. I'm like, how do you have that amazing body and you're smaller than me and you eat like probably twice as much food as I do? Like I was just shocked. But I think, it was a really eye-opening experience for me. And honestly, once I made the 49ers, I was like, whoa, like I kind of like naturally healed my eating disorder. I was also going to therapy and all the things and trying to learn as much as I could. So, but it was like very refreshing to go into the dance world and see people fueling their bodies properly. And not just like starving themselves. And don't get me wrong, there was a little bit of that too, but for the majority, a lot of people eat very, very normal and healthy, which I love to see. And that was a couple years ago. And ever since then, I've been pretty balanced. We all have those moments where we maybe don't love the way we look and we want to kind of restrict. And I'm not going to pretend and say that I'm perfect because I've definitely fallen back into those little moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, like I hate my body right now. I need to like restrict myself. And then I kind of bring myself back and I'm like, no, actually we've done this before. It's miserable. Everyone around you also hates it because you're hangry AF. So yeah, but now, I'm 28 years old, almost 29, which is like so crazy. I can't even believe it. And I'm just in such a good headspace with my mindset around food, my mindset in general, and just living a balanced, healthy lifestyle. But it honestly took me so much trial and error in researching. And so what I really want this podcast to be, like I mentioned, is just help fast track your journey. I love health and fitness, and I think, nutrition is important, movement is important, but the mindset side of things is really what changed my life. And what I think is a missing piece of a lot of programs is they don't talk about the mindset side of things. That is, in my opinion, one of the most important pieces. Yes, eating healthy to feel good, It's not like you can eat unhealthy food and tell yourself that you feel good and kind of convince yourself of that, but mindset is just so freaking important. And so I want to talk about all things wellness, health, fitness, a lot of mindset with health and fitness, mindset with losing fat, sculpting your dream body. Just kind of an example I like to use is, especially with mindset, is think of 2 identical twins. One is, they have the same body, same look on the exterior. One of them feels absolutely amazing in their own skin, feels confident, loves their body, thinks they look amazing. And then the other one, same exact exterior, weighs the same, like exactly the same. They hate how their body is. They look at the world with a negative perspective. They are constantly judging themselves and constantly just being really, really negative about themselves and mean to themselves. Maybe don't like themselves. which one would you rather be? You know, you can be unhappy at, you know, your goal weight just as easily as you can be unhappy looking a different way, which is why it's so important to combine the 3 pillars of mindset, nutrition, and movement, which we'll get into all of the things in this podcast. So I am just so excited for you to join me on this journey. I am forever evolving and growing, and I'm not here to promise you that I have all the answers, but I am really excited to have you along for the ride and along for my journey. If you want to follow me on my socials, my Instagram is at Ashley Roberts, and same with my TikTok at Ashley Roberts. Again, I am so excited that you are here, and you should be so proud of yourself because you are taking the time to listen to this podcast, which means you're someone that's ready to better your life. So if no one has told you today, I am so freaking proud of you. And if you enjoyed this first podcast episode, it would really mean the world to me if you rated and reviewed it. I am obviously so new to all of this stuff, but so excited to have you along for the journey, and I can't wait to chat with you in the next episode.